want to be in the video? Yes? Say hi to the people. Say hi, people. Alright, I'm sorry about my hair, it still has to dry, but today we are talking about all the books that I read in February, and I started off really well with Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Now, the beginning of this book is actually quite chaotic. It is like you have these film scenes at the beginning of films in which you are on a street and you focus on like the butcher talking to some clients, and then you move to like a dog running past, and then you see some kids playing with like a toy, and then you see this flower salesman exchanging some words with someone else or something like that, and it's continually like that, very intensely for like the first 30 to 40 pages, I want to say. And it was so chaotic that I was afraid that I would like put it down, the book. But actually Bonnie Nicole Wright decided to do a buddy read with me for this one. So I'm very grateful to Bonnie for doing that, because I was doing a buddy read, I felt like I had to push through. And it proved to be totally worth pushing through. Because after all that chaos, we do start to focus on some central characters of the story. Sorry. Mainly we have Mrs. Dalloway, Clarissa, and she is married to Richard. And there is this whole history between her and Peter. And the question is a bit like, well, we know that Peter was very much in love with Clarissa, but did Clarissa actually have feelings for Peter? She is definitely trying to imagine what life would have been like if she had married Peter. But Richard is a great guy, and we see that too. And oh, there's so much more. There is this other storyline about Septimus and Rezia, who are married, and Septimus is having a really hard time. He is having like depression. He came back from the war, and he is suffering a lot because of it. So this story has a lot of layers to it. There is a lot going on in here for such a thin book, actually. But it's quite impressive how well all of this is done. You know, it's Virginia Woolf. This name is everywhere. It is a canon writer for a reason, of course, but she really is extremely good at doing these character studies, making her characters come to life, and you feel like they are true people, and everything that is going on with them is actually, and their thoughts are actually real human thoughts, like different characters, different personalities would feel and react to these kind of situations. So yes, I actually ended up loving Mrs. Dalloway. I'm very happy that I read it. If you want to pick it up though, I just want to warn you about that beginning. Just push through, because then it is worth it. Next, I moved on to my series of the month, because I'm doing my year of series, and I'm trying to read a series each month that I draw from my to be read jar. And the series this time was the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. I'll start with the trilogy and then I'll talk about the other ones after. So we have this trilogy, and it is, well, all the books are about the same friend group. We have Stevie, who goes to this like fancy academy school where she got in because she is interested in the history of that place, specifically in like a kidnapping that happened in that school quite some time ago, when the founder lived there, and his wife and daughter got kidnapped, and his wife was found dead a couple of days later, but the daughter was never found. And Stevie is interested in that and wrote an essay about it, and that's how she got into the school. So they are kind of motivating her as well to try and solve that mystery from the 1930s, I believe. But of course, it wouldn't be as exciting if nothing was going on now as well. She's making several friends and perhaps a couple of enemies. Stuff is going on. And at the end of this book, we have a disappearance. So that's kind of exciting. And then nothing is solved at the end of this book, because in this trilogy, this story continues over the 3 books. So then in the second one, things move forward, you get more clues, you can try and solve a bit more of what is going on. We definitely have more excitement going on in the Now storyline, in the Stevie storyline. And then in the last book, eventually everything is wrapped up. So both the Now storyline as what happened in the 1930s is solved. And although I was kind of along for the ride, because this is a young adult series and it's very easy to read. It is giving you exactly what you expect it to give you. It is not pretending to be anything else either, which is kind of nice. It's like easy mystery, young people getting together, and not more than that. I was kind of disappointed by the ending though, but yeah, I don't want to ruin it if you want to read the series. As I said, it is fun to read through. It is young adults, something that I would recommend actually to the right age, to my students as well. It's very, how should I say, safe to read. It's fun to read. It's just that the ending for me isn't particularly great, but maybe I have been spoiled because I read so many things already. So yeah, there's that. And then after the trilogy, there are 2 more books. Each of these books are separate stories. They are about Stevie and her friends once again, but they both handle a different historical mystery or murder mystery. So first we have The Box in the Woods, in which Stevie and her friends end up in this like summer camp, and in the 70s, like 4 young people were murdered there, and I really enjoyed that setup. It felt like a really good 80s movie, if you know what I mean. You have these 4 people who were killed in these woods close to this camp. It had all the makings of like this good thriller story, but once again the ending did not satisfy me. I was actually quite angry about the ending. Once again, that's not a part that I can spoil. But it was too bad, because up until that point I was really enjoying this one, because I loved the setup. Also in this one I did feel like the friendships were working out the best. I think all the characters were at their best in this book. So yeah, there was like growth for like the series, but not as much for this particular ending. And then we have 9 Liars, and 9 Liars is about this group of 9 friends that in the 90s stayed over at this big mansion together, and then 2 of them got murdered. And this one felt the most, I'd say, Agatha Christie-like of all of these, because you have this closed setting, this closed group of possible suspects. In this house you even get like a drawing, a map of the floors of the house, so you can see which rooms look out over which parts of the garden and things like that. So that was quite interesting. Story-wise, by which I mean the Now story, I didn't find this one as interesting as the other ones, because Stevie's boyfriend is studying in England in this one, and they go over and visit in England, but she is getting jealous of this girl that he has befriended, and it felt really, really definitely YA in this one. It's like, I'm feeling too old for this kind of petty jealousy. You know, there is no reason for it, and it's so obvious that there's no reason for it, but on the other hand, you know, you do remember being at that age, and actually I have to say that it is very much age appropriate in that way. So because of that, I did like the book again. Yeah, I also think that ending wise, with like the solution about who the murderer is and everything, this one is the best in the series so far. Now I've also seen that 6th book is actually coming out. Yes, supposedly in October, The Velvet Knife is coming out. So there is a 6th book coming out in this series. And because I read the other 5, I will try the 6th one. I am very hopeful that because the ending in the last one was the best, that in the 6th one, Maureen Johnson will keep that one going and keep me interested. to read that. Also, Nine Liars ended on a cliffhanger for like the Now storyline for the friend group. So I do want to know how that continues. But like, it's not set in stone that I'll read it this year. It's not that urgent. It's not that serious. But I do want to read it eventually. And then the last book I read this month was very much a mood read, a spur of the moment decision. It was not something that was on my to be read, and it's also a reread actually. And it happened because I went to see the movie, so maybe you know already by now. But I reread Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. It has actually been 20 years, over 20 years since I read this book. And I remember loving it back then, and I just loved it again now. I also have to say, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I also liked the movie. I had a lot of fun. I went with my husband, and we had a great time. And I know that a lot of people don't like all the adaptations that are done, because it is called Wuthering Heights, but it's not the complete story of Wuthering Heights, or it's not really correct to Wuthering Heights. But I have noticed that the title of the movie is put in quotation marks, so it's like Wuthering Heights, not Wuthering Heights. And as I said, I really enjoyed the movie. Now about the book, I don't know if you've read it. Maybe if you did, you can leave a comment. I would really appreciate you commenting here on this, because we need to talk about Wuthering Heights more. Although it is happening now. But let's talk about what Wuthering Heights is about. We are in the 1700s, and there is this family, the Earnshaws, who live at this place called Wuthering Heights. It's this house with stables and stuff. And they live there. And one day the father brings home a boy, a parentless boy, and they call him Heathcliff, and he befriends the daughter of the house, which is Catherine, and they grow up together, and they very much grow towards each other. But the father dies, and then there is also the older brother of Catherine, who is called Hindley, and Hindley does not have a great relationship with Heathcliff, because he feels like Heathcliff stole some of his father's love towards him. So Hindley really treats Heathcliff quite badly, and Heathcliff swears to have revenge someday on Hindley. But of course Heathcliff and Catherine are falling in love. They cannot live without each other. They grew up together. They know each other so well. They feel like they are part of the same human being. However, Heathcliff is of this, other, how do you say that, level? Stage? You know, he is not at the same class as Catherine, and Catherine feels that it would be more proper for her to marry the neighbor's boy, Edgar, because he has money, and he is a very kind boy, definitely a very kind boy, but a bit, spoiled, and he is no Heathcliff in character, definitely not. But Heathcliff overhears her talking about marrying Edgar, and he leaves, and Catherine is heartbroken, but Heathcliff doesn't return, so eventually Catherine does marry Edgar, and then after a while Heathcliff returns, and there is of course drama. Now this is all in volume 1, because this book actually consists of 2 volumes. And volume 2 is quite something different, except for the first 2 chapters, which I do feel belong more to volume 1. But after that we have this skip in generation. So we have a couple of people that were already there, of course, of the previous generation. But we have the next generation, the children. And the book slows down a bit there, because for the rest of the story to develop, you need these kids to grow up a little more, to become characters in their own right, and to become part of a very, very evil revenge plot that is going on. Actually, this might have been the very best revenge plot that I have ever read. Yes, I love this book so much. There is so much passion and longing in this first volume. This it's like the beginning of dark romance, maybe. It's really intense, but kind of dangerously so. Not kind of, it's definitely dangerously so. It is awful, it is hurting people, and then the second part is so intense. This whole revenge plot is just so malicious, it's so evil, it's intensely evil, and it is wonderful to read about, but it haunts you as well. So it's just, yeah, it's a magnificent book. It just is. If you haven't read Wuthering Heights, then yeah, you should. Alright, so those were my February reads. It's a bit of a young adult between classics sandwich that I had going on here. But I enjoyed this very much. I had a really fun month in February reading all of these. I'm very happy that I got to read all of these books in 1 month time, which is especially due to these being young adult and reading a lot faster. But yeah, that was my February. I hope you had a good reading month in February. If you read any of these, please let me know in the comments. And I hope to see you soon in another video. Bye!